So of the 3 builds of Sim Update number 2 beta for Flight Simulator 2024, I thought, hey, it might be really nice to do some forum analysis. In this video, we're gonna look at the forum analysis, which I did. So let's roll the intro and then let's start looking at the results. So let's get started with the analysis. First, the introduction, right? The purpose was to figure out the user feedback and also the sentiment on the fora. You can imagine that on those fora, right, people are a lot, I would say, reporting issues. So I would say sentiment is, I would say, a bit discussable, but also looks at the top 5 issues. And that's all based on the flightsimulator.com fora, specifically for Sim Update number 2. We will cover 9 key forum categories, for example, Crash to Desktop, the third-party solutions, and a lot more. And the meta I used was I reviewed the approximate topic counts, right, the number of topics, then the inferred sentiment, as well as the top issues by views, reactions, or listing. This is done by scraping data, right? So it could be that it's not 100% correct, but gives you a good ID. The data is up till the 3rd of April, somewhere at 9 o'clock. So that's, I would say, pretty nice. So let's have a look. So first of all, we've got the ATC traffic and nav weights. They're roughly 11 topics. The sentiment was predominantly negative. Users reporting bugs and functional problems in that category. Things like the AI aircraft parking conflicts, that was number 1, followed by the ATC panel communication options missing. This one is one I faced myself also, where you would be able to communicate, but at one point they sometimes disappear. I reported it also as a bug and I reproduced it multiple times, so that's pretty frustrating. Then the live traffic registration formatting is also number 3. Then the live traffic cruise altitudes too high. This is also a nightmare. And the 5th one is the charge mismatched with the flight plan. Right, those charts which are in the electronic flight bag, that nice application, they're not always correct. So these are the top 5 issues in this category, ATC traffic and nav weights. The next category is aircraft and systems. This, I would say, is likely the largest one because it contains 92 topics, also predominantly negative. Again, users were reporting bugs and functional problems. And if we look at that category, then the 737 MAX 8 engine start fill, if it's below 6 degrees, that one was the top issue, followed by the H125, right, which is the helicopter, the Airbus, which had some functional and visual issues. Some of those visual issues might be fixed in the latest update, right, because there are some issues in there. Then the buckles visible in exterior view for multiple aircrafts. That's a really weird view, right? You can see the buckles if you're looking from the exterior side of the aircraft. And I would say an even worse issue that the ATR 7242 could not be loaded completely. Besides that, there's the Cessna 172 G1000 registration LOD issue. The G1000 received an update again in the latest update, but I'm not 100% sure if it's being fixed. The ATR issue, I wasn't able to reproduce it 100%, but it could be that I tested it not in the first build, but in the second build, which might already have resolved the issue. Then going to the most, I would say, Then going to the most, I would say, worrying, Then going to the most worrying, let's say, topics, right? The crash to desktops, where it really crashes. Approximately 45 topics, again, negative. It was dedicated to crash reports and user seeking solutions. There were multiple issues. For example, one with specific for NVIDIA drivers, right? On the Ford space. I didn't encounter it, to be honest, but hey, it could still be. Then also were some issues enabling forfeited rendering, right? When you're playing using VR. Was also, let's say, specifically targeting VR players. And even some players reported issues after downloading the update where it completely crashed their PC. So that was really interesting. I luckily didn't see that. As well as the number 2, right? Which result in sim update number 2 keeps crashing. I didn't look at the statistics, but it could be that this is related to some Xbox players. Could be. And then also crash to desktops when you're switching between aircraft, airport, and flying, right? That's pausing, then continuing, pausing, continuing. This was also something I have experienced at least once, but now the latest build is pretty stable. Then the external and third-party products. Not that many topics, 21. The sentiment is kind of mixed, right? Some frustration, but also some constructive feedback, right? Some real good feedback. And of course, I do understand that people are frustrated when they're participating and it doesn't work. But come on, that's where the beta is for, right? It's there to collect the feedback for Asobo to work on these issues. So what were the reasons? Well, the technical and compatibility issues, often post-simulator updates, for example, sim update number 2. Some of them are, let's say, caused by some aircraft which are not even compatible, like the Phoenix one. I don't think it's even officially compatible with sim update number 2, but it's the most reported issue, likely because a lot of, I would say, simmers want to use that aircraft in Flight Simulator 2020. Besides that, we've got the in-game toolbar panel display issues. There's a fix for that, I believe, but let's see how it is going after the last update. Then the Active Sky FS weather mod broken. I don't have it, so I can't say if it is bad or good. As well as the crash to desktop with FS LTL traffic on VATSIM. I also don't have it, so I can't say it. Last one is, I would say, pretty bad, right? Because the ATA Command 250 hangs on starting flight. And that's, I think, I would say, one of the latest additions to the marketplace. So that's bad news. Then the hardware. Not too many topics, 6 in total. Again, mainly negative. Hardware malfunction are reported, calibration issues are reported, as well as peripheral issues post-updates are reported. For example, the first item is the separate rudder axis not working properly in some of the planes, not all of the planes. And that's, let's say, kind of a nightmare if you want to use them. Then also the controls out of calibration after the update. So keep in mind, hopefully they will fix it before the official release. Else you might need to recalibrate your joysticks, especially those where you, I would say, have the larger airlines where you need to calibrate the throttling. That might be something which you need to rework on. As well as the controller vibration not functional. That's mainly for those Xbox controllers, I do think. The track IR movement issues, which were already, already there from the start of Flight Simulator 2024. I do think that they were still experienced by some users, so not 100% sure if they will be fixed. So if you've got those nice devices, they still might have the issue. Last one, the Class Echo device not fully functional. Post sim update number 2 beta. I don't have it, so I would say I can't say if that's really still the case. Then the install performance and graphics section. 20 topics, again, largely negative. So there are reports of performance regressions, also glitches, long loads and install problems. Here it says very long loading time after starting the flight. I do think that this might be, I would say, initially one in the first builds, or one of the first builds where this issue was experienced, because I also experienced it massively. Latest build, it's pretty fast. It doesn't, I would say, experience that much. Then also the beta frames unplayable. I would say I was pretty happy until I landed on Heathrow, where it really became a little bit stuttering and not, I would say, playable that well. The weird thing is that I would say until I was on the ground at Heathrow, it worked perfectly. And I've got a 4090, right? So, and a pretty good spec machine. So kind of weird that it happened. And also decrease during flight. I didn't experience it. I did several long flights. It was pretty okay for me. As well as the VRAM performance regression. Well, I didn't look specifically at the VRAM, but I have a look at the internet because there are a lot of, I would say, people who are monitoring the performance for you and let you know how it is in sim update number 2. Then the blurry compressed ground textures at low altitude. Yeah, there are some spaces which are not that good. However, based on, I would say, some testing, I think it might be improved in the latest build, but not 100% sure yet because I didn't play it that much yet. Then the marketplace, 3 active topics. I would say people are negative but also concerned. Concerns over the Flight Simulator 2024 availability, functionality, and policies. Right, so the first one is the improvements and the policy concerns, because there are specific policies which are applicable, which might not, let's say, make FS 2020 content available, and there also are some other policy concerns, as well as the availability in the launch queries, right? So some people are reporting, hey, why does it take so long before, I would say, the new stuff comes in? Compared to Flight Simulator 2020, right? If you look at those marketplaces compared to 2024, I would say it goes slowly, but I do think that a lot of developers are, I would say, a little bit holding back off before some critical issues are fixed in Sim Update or in Flight Simulator 2024. Then the last one, the content activation and Sim Update 1 anticipation, right? There was also an issue report with that, but not too many activity on this thread, to be honest. Then the scenery and designs, again, I can always repeat it, right? Negative. People are mostly negative. But come on, people, report those issues, and I would say keep reporting them, because if you don't report them, then they might not be fixed, or they might be fixed, but it takes longer. What were the issues? Issues with the airport environment, scenery, often post, Sim update number 2. One of them was the jetways in which you're not connecting, kind of a serious one, as well as the ground texture corruption artifacts. I do think that the second one was possibly fixed, because there was something mentioned in the release notes. So let's see if it's still there after Sim update number 2 beta 3. Then also the incorrect taxiway and runway elevation was an issue which was reported, as well as the blinking PAPI lights on approach. So normally the PAPI lights are burning, I would say, kind of continuously, but they were blinking. I also saw it, kind of weird. So let's see if that's fixed. As well as the invisible airport ground cars at night. In some cases, the cars were not, let's say, visible. I didn't experience it when landing at Heathrow, but could be specific airports. Didn't look at it, to be honest. Then the user interface and activities. Here it says mainly negative. Kind of more positive, right? Problems with UI elements, config settings, core activities like the career mode and the logbook. First one was they won't change the community folder read contents. This is an issue which is reported massively by users. And I would say changing the folder isn't in most cases the issue if you stay on the, I would say, C drive, but if you move it to a D drive or something, it looks like then it causes more issues for some reason compared to if you move it to a different folder on the C drive. I also did it. I didn't experience any issues. Then the VIP missions plus the PC24 are gone from the career mode, kind of a critical issue, but I do think that it was officially mentioned in the release notes of Sim update number 2, the first beta, that they will be gone, but they will be reintroduced at a later stage. Career mode issues after the latest updates, where people reporting a lot of issues with career mode, as well as requests to restore the sim rate in career mode, right? That's, I would say, request to restore the sim rate. I would say it's more of, I would say, probably a feature request than really a bug. And the last one, flights not being logged in logbook. I didn't experience it. For me, it worked perfectly. Then the weather. 20 topics, mainly negative. Again, frustrations over live weather inaccuracies and related issues. Mainly the live weather injection which is completely broken, doesn't work 100% correct, as well as the general turbulence settings were removed for some reason. Maybe they will be returning back at a later stage. Besides that, the meter data was missing from the EFB. That's correct. I also experienced it. You can't retrieve it anymore. That's really frustrating, as well as the live weather was not working, which related to the injection which is broken. Next one, the snow cover not depicted. That's also being, say, an issue for some of the items. I didn't experience this one myself, but hey, that's what you have if you don't fly over snowy areas. So, recapping. The overall segment or the overall sentiment is largely negative. Most technical categories, the bugs, the CTDs, the performance, hardware, scenery, and the UI. Common themes, issues often related to recent updates. Well, that's kind of logical, right? Because, hey, that's why Sim update number 2 has been released. Performance regressions were reported and compatibility issues, as well as some core functionalities which were simply broken, like the logbook and the career mode. Mixed sentiment with VR, right? It shows a mix. Some people are happy, some people are less happy. And especially in the third party, there was a lot of frustration, but also a constructive dialogue, right? And that's what you need to have. So make sure that you're, instead of, I would say, continuously reporting issues with, I would say, an angry voice, then also make it constructive, right? Report those issues, provide the steps to reproduce, because that helps them making and fixing those issues. Then the areas of concern, the marketplace discussion on the future policies and availability for Flight Simulator 2024 was discussed. So key takeaway is significant user frustration exists regarding stability, performance, and regression, particularly after updates. And I do think, especially that regression is something which is worrying. Also, of course, the stability and performance. So I can fully understand everyone. But hey, let's see how we can help Asobo and Microsoft make Flight Simulator 2024 sim update number 2. I would say a big improvement for the sim, right? It's a second update and a third update is already planned. So they're continuously working on improving everything for everyone. So here ends this video where we did some, I would say, analysis based on the forum post, looking at the 5 top issues, looking at the sentiment, which I would say makes it, I would say, a little bit discussable, because I would say it's kind of expected that people are sometimes frustrated, right, when reporting issues. But still, it was, I would say, nice, I would say, exercise to do to see, okay, hey, what are we seeing? I hope you also liked it. If you liked it, then hit the like button, because that tells me that this video, or that this type of video, I should say, is liked and that I might need to do it a little bit more. Thanks for watching and hope to see you back next time.